So that's the kind of brain that I have. Like, when I think of social situations, my instant reaction is just to panic. My senior quote was, "Don't panic, panic," from High School Musical. I'm prone to do it very much. I have anxiety, and I'm also just really, really shy in situations where I don't know people or feel awkward in any way. So, an example of this was when I was a freshman in high school. I didn't know anyone coming into high school, and so what I did is I went to the farthest back table in the cafeteria, and I sat there with these girls, and we didn't talk to each other for 3 weeks. Like, we would eat lunch in silence. Like, we would just sit there, like, eating our sandwiches, like, looking down. And those are my friends through all of high school. Like, some people eventually started to fall in, and, like, some people started to talk around week 2, and it was like, whoa. Revolutionary. And, like, some of them turned out to be kind of crazy, but, like, it took us a really long time to get there. Same thing was at my youth group. I went to Christ the King youth group, and I didn't talk for 2 years. I was just like, people know that I love Jesus. They're gonna think I'm a weirdo. But everyone there loved Jesus, so I don't know what I was getting at them. And my big reason why I didn't talk when I was so nervous is that I was just so scared I was gonna be hurt, and scared that my biggest fear, it still kind of is my biggest fear, is that people secretly hate me and they don't want to tell me to my face. And exactly, Juliet's story would be my actual worst nightmare. So props to you for surviving it, because I just think that's happening to everyone that I know. And that's why it takes me a really long time to open up and trust people. So for this reason, and I know this is gonna sound weird because I'm up here giving this talk, I really didn't like BeLoved in high school, really didn't like it, didn't want to go, was just this is not what I want. And I know that's not what a lot of you guys want to hear, and that's not a lot of your guys' experience, because you guys are this is a nurturing environment for me, this is where a lot of my best friends are, I can't believe, you felt that way, and but it's true. And there were 2 parts to this. One part was the actual real atmosphere, and that's a very small part of this. I want to just emphasize, no one did anything wrong, I don't think. A lot of it was just the way that I perceive things, and the bigger part of it was me, and me holding myself back. So I want to talk about that for a little bit. So when I would come to BeLoved, when I was a freshman in high school, I literally didn't know anybody. I had gone to Pine Hills, which is the camp BLR does, in case any of you guys don't know about that. So I had gone to that, and there, friends are split up because they're in different cabins, so you aren't with your friends all the time, and so there were never any big cliques for me, so I'd always be able to make friends at camp. But then when I would come back here, everyone could just hang out with their normal friends, and I went to a school with 39 people in my grade, and eventually Genevieve Lilly showed up, and I was thank the Lord she is here. But until then, I was homeschooled before that. I didn't know anything. Seriously, people would be talking about Kairos, and I would be is Kairos in Egypt? Do they all just go on fish in Egypt all the time? What's going on? And people would talk about it constantly, Kairos was so powerful. I'm the pyramids? What are they talking about? And I still don't know who Mr. G is. People have talked about this dude for years. Mr. G, a teacher somewhere. I don't know who that is. It's been 5 years since someone first mentioned that. I don't know. I just don't know. Because no one would explain it to me, and so I'd be standing there and feel really awkward. And I should have just been what's Kairos? But I didn't want to do that because people would be she's a weirdo. She thinks Kairos is in Egypt. I did. And so I just didn't feel I just felt I didn't belong, that I was an outsider, and that no one wanted to actually hang out with me, and they were all just gonna hang out with their own friends. But then a lot of this also was me protecting myself. So I would do this really weird thing that I think I've mentioned before, where I would just hide in the corner. Then when that didn't work, I'd look at people with puppy eyes and be talk to me, I'm lonely. But with my eyes exclusively, wouldn't say anything. Then I would go to the food table and eat a bunch of food. Then I would go to the bathroom and just hide, and go to the 3rd stall back and stand there, maybe do some heavy breathing, crying, whatever I was in the mood for that day, and just be I'm such a loser. But you guys think I'm kidding, but I had a favorite stall in Covenant Community Church that I went to. It was sad. So like, after a while, I just, like, stopped going. I was so shy. I did not want to talk to people. And it's not to make anyone feel bad. Like, I don't want anyone to be like, I didn't talk to Sam when she was, oh my God. Like, it wasn't like, I was just standing there. I wasn't doing anything about it. I was passively just letting things happen to me. And so I just stopped going. I was like, this isn't for me. Like, I don't belong here. Done. End of story. And I would show up periodically for like Christmas parties because I was like, I do like these people and I just want to be with them, but I just can't do it every week, which I think was part of my problem. And like, guys, if one of you feels like that, like, I know it's like funny to like laugh at, like, but like none of you should ever have to feel like you don't belong somewhere and that you shouldn't be there and that everyone hates you. Like, you should never feel that way about yourself because it's not true. And if you do feel that way, it's not going to be forever. Like, you won't always be the outsider. You won't always feel that way. Like, I'm putting that in quotes because you're never the outsider either. So you might be like, well, she was hiding in a bathroom one day and now she's up on this podium giving a talk, so where did things turn? And that's a good question. Part of this was definitely, like, in senior year, a lot of my friends either moved away or like just kind of became kind of catty and like they didn't want to hang out with me anymore. So that pushed me a lot to expand my social circles. I came to BeLoved more and I was like, this is okay, like I can do this, like it's fine. And I like tried to push through. I mean, it still wasn't perfect, but I was like, this is fine. And then, you know, college was really big for me. College, I moved in with total strangers. I had literally never met them before. And I didn't know anyone who really went to the school. Later, I found out Kristen Peridor went there after I was already there. So I was like, but like didn't know anyone going in. And moving in with strangers, let me tell you, like you learn some things about yourself. You have to like figure out like what story do I tell them about this event that they were never at. And so like you kind of like learn how to tell things and like you kind of take control over your own story, which I really enjoyed. And when I was going to college, like a big reason that I went to Eastern is I didn't want to hide anymore. Like I didn't want to have to feel like I was in the corner and like I couldn't talk to anyone and like had to keep my head down and like maybe if like my friends are like my best friends are here, I can talk to them. Like no. And so I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to be bold. I wanted to be like out there. I wanted to have like more friends. And so like, yeah, and a big way that this helped me helped me get to that point mentality was like, my mom always says, she's like, not everyone has to like you. And Juliet talked about this a little bit earlier, but like, everyone's not gonna like you, and that doesn't mean you have like the license to be rude and be like, it's just my personality that I'm really mean to people that I don't know. Like that doesn't give you an excuse, you still have to be kind. But if everything you say doesn't vibe with someone, then that's okay. Like, it's okay not to be the funniest person in the room. I've told so many things that I thought were hilarious and that have landed flat on their face. And I'm like, well, here we are. Okay, we're gonna just pretend that was totally serious and move on. But then there's sometimes when people think that it's funny, or like, when people ask, like, not trying to make yourself seem like a certain way. Like, I'm really opinionated about movies. And so like some people have asked me like, what's your favorite movie? And it's really easy for me to be like, there's too many, like how could I even pick a movie? Like, and that would be fine if you truly don't have opinions, but I have an extremely strong opinion. And so I had to learn to be like, just buckle your seatbelt, Sam, it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, my favorite movie is a 3.5 hour long movie about this boy who grows up. It was filmed over 12 years. I'm like, yeah, it was really great. And I'm like, and do you want to watch it with me? And like, some people do want to watch it with you. Like Joanne, who I brought tonight, watched my 3.5 hour long movie with me, because she's a trooper. So you will find people who will like you for who you are and not someone you're pretending to be. And if you're always pretending to be someone else, how will you find people who you actually want to be friends with? You won't, because like, you know what I mean? And another big person who helped me through this obviously was God. God helped the most through all of this. He inspired boldness. He inspired my choice to go to Eastern. He inspired everything. But the Lord calls us to be bold, you guys. Like, he calls us to say things that we aren't comfortable with. He doesn't call you to be in your comfort zone. This isn't saying because you're shy, you should go up here right now and start giving a speech. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, you need to not be afraid to speak the truth and to be who you are. And, like, it's your responsibility. Like, I know, like, lots of shy kids are, like, really have responsibility complexes, at least I do. So, like, it's your responsibility to be yourself and to not let people think, not, like, be too scared of who you are, because God made you that way. And, like, that sounds so cheesy, but, like, you were made this way, and you were made for greatness, and you were made for boldness, and it doesn't have to be something super dramatic, but you have to, like, work, and you have to try. And it's difficult, but it is so worth it, because God wants you to be happy, and he wants you to find people who, like, will love you and all that stuff. So in college and here, I tried not to turn the volume down on my personality and tried to just stay at the level I would be if I was with my family or my closest friends. Like, this is me at the DIA, just posing with the art, because that's just my personality, and that's on the board for everyone to see, and so I'm not hiding who I am. And now I have friends who love me and know who I really am, and don't judge me for weird pictures that I take of myself. Covering my mouth, if you would like to put that one up, you have fifth freedom. Okay, yeah. And so you might be wondering, like, how did she get over the BLR situation? Well, the key is if you not hate something, but if you're uncomfortable somewhere, you just have to keep doing it. Like, keep showing up. And I also would recommend trying to do something service-oriented, and just work with people, or like volunteer to do something, because then you'll feel like you have a purpose, and you feel like you have a reason to be there, and that you're giving back to a community that you care about. Like, that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this, because, I'm giving back to you guys, and that's, like, so fruitful to me, and it's so much more fruitful than, like, just showing up or anything, and not to be like, you need to give a talk, or you need to bring all the food. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but, like, just volunteering in some way or in a different atmosphere, maybe that would work for you. Also, if you don't know how to start conversations, because I didn't, just go with compliments. Really easy. You can just walk up to someone and be like, I really like your hair, or whatever. And it's just something easy to get you into a conversation, and you know what I mean? So that's just a pro tip. So sometimes, I'm not, like the bus example, sometimes I'm still really awkward and I hold back a lot. And people, but like, it doesn't, like, I'm way better than I used to be, and you can be too, even if you're prone to being shy. And people like your honesty when you're honest with them, and they can tell that you're trying to be who you are, and they can see you trying, and God does too, and God doesn't hold your social mistakes over your head like, you really messed up that conversation with so-and-so the other day, like, whoa, Sam, like, you said the wrong adjective, like, you know what I mean? Even though, like, that's what we do, God never does that to us. He just wants us to build a relationship in whatever way that looks like, and he doesn't hold our feelings over our head. So I know this has been, like, a lot of information going kind of off track, but whatever. So now, like, when I come to BeLoved, I feel so much better. I can just walk in and, like, walk up to people and say hello, and I know that, like, this community will embrace me with open arms, because they have, even when I didn't let myself, I was still always invited to everything. No one ever tried to disinclude me in any way. So you just have to have the boldness, even if you're super shy, to just walk up and be like, I'm here. And the right people will accept you for who you are. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has accepted me, even though I'm definitely not perfect, and I definitely make a ton of what I would consider social mistakes, and like, I can do things that are just, that I'm not a huge fan of, but like, thank you for all accepting me all the time and being so good to me. And